Hi guys, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Well, this is a first for me as well, so it's going to be trial and error. And well, thought I'll go back to one of my mates who I've been very, very proud of to have known, to have seen grow up and really perform and become a man that we all look up to. A lot of people look up to. He really is an idol, and there he is. Needs no introduction. I'm not sure whether we can make him out as much as before because he looks a little bald. MJ, how are you?
Good. How are you? What's with the accent? Yo, that accent is for the TV. Talking with me, I had to talk with the old accent.
I'm trying to be a professional here now. Stop mucking around. How you been?
Good. Not too bad.
Well, before we start, guys, whoever you are, if you can help Mahela out with this, for quite a while, he's been struggling with this. Now, Captain Ali is the captain of the ship. The captain of the ship is Captain Ali. What is the name of the ship? Now, Mahela Jayawardene, he's a genius with the bat. He's an artist. But he still doesn't know the answer to that. So if you can help him out before we go out from here, that will be great. Captain Ali is the captain of the ship. The captain of the ship is Captain Ali. What is the name of the ship, Mahela? I'm sure it rings a bell.
You're probably struggling with that, but I think I know what it is. So anyway.
Well, we'll leave, if you know it, we'll leave that for now. Well, that's a little riddle for you to figure out. What have you been up to, MJ? I've been struggling to get hold of you because yesterday I was trying to get this in order and oh my God, you gave me headaches. I was not sure whether you'll stand me up. What are you up to?
Well, I thought you got internet in Australia. What are you doing? You only get connected to Sri Lankan cricket when you have to work, is it?
It's a little bit like that. Sometimes that's a good thing, isn't it?
Have a bit of a conflict of interest. No, you can't like really mess around with Sri Lankan cricket. So
there is nothing like that. I think for now I've had a good run. Just been able to do my little thing, stick in my little corner, and call the game as it is.
Yeah, no, I had some meetings yesterday. But I messaged you in the night, so you knew.
Yeah, but I'm sleeping for you. Your night. Actually, guys, I'm in Sydney, so that's 4.5 hours ahead. Really, I'm struggling in keeping my my laptop in order. Well, anyway, okay, that's better. Yeah. So meetings, is that what you're up to?
Yeah, I had a big meeting yesterday. I mean, came out pretty well. It was a very productive, and yeah, I think managed to
work related.
Yeah, I guess so. I think you played the game for such a long time, and you're part of Sri Lankan cricket. You probably can voice your opinion on certain things, and that's what happened.
Okay. So my idea, Mahela, like I said, I'd like to switch off. We'd look at different things, a lighter side of you, and probably see what made you this person. I think that's the most important thing. How's golf going though?
I haven't played golf, Russ. I mean, everything's been some time now. So, but I've been involved with the club. I've been part of the committee in a different way. So we've been trying to make sure the club's been in good nick and all that. So hopefully once Colombo curfew get relaxed and all that, I think government is quite keen on starting recreational sports. So I think golf is something that, because you're outdoors, can play, with distance and stuff like that, not a physical sport. Hopefully be on the golf course pretty soon.
When are we gonna get a game? Because I know you're a little bit worried about your handicap and playing against me after seeing that flat hit that kept going on and on in Diganat the last time we were around, weren't we?
Maya, I'll tell you one thing. One thing I'm not worried about is your golf game.
Don't
Definitely.
underestimate.
I can probably play left-handed and still beat you.
Ah, right. But what's this bandit story though? Sangha
Who's
messaged me. Sangha messaged me and said, Aru Hora, bandit.
He's the bandit? He still hasn't got a handicap, so it's very difficult for him to actually have an argument with anybody. It's handicap when he's not playing off an handicap. So I think the first thing to for him is to try and get his handicap sorted out, and that much I have to be like we need to have a presidential commission or something like that, an independent uh, commission to sign that off, because he's very bad at that.
The Sangha Dora.
Proper Horamaja. He's been taking money off a lot of people. Quite a few friends have lost to him purely because of his handicap, bogus handicap that is.
Great, great, great. It must be really tough though, because I know you're a sports lover. A lot of guys have messaged in asking about Manchester United and you, what you follow now without live sport, without live news to read, even with rugby. How would you keep yourself busy, Mahela?
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I think we all love sports and would be great, but I think The Last Dance, the Netflix series, was quite fascinating. Watching Jordan's story was something nice. Yeah, a lot of movies, but at the same time, I've got other work-related stuff which we have to be part of. Yeah, I mean, keeping self busy, training, fitness, and all that.
Training,
So it's been good.
training. What do you do?
Not like you,
This is
Russ.
it.
We
This
do,
is it.
we do. Yeah, I know you do. You hate running, you hate the gym and all that, but yeah, but others have to, really work hard to stay fit.
Did you see what happened to Muri?
No, I didn't.
Well, Mario messaged me saying that, or rather spoke to me and said he'd bumped into Muri, who's been limping. He's had both knees operated apparently over the last couple of months.
Really,
Mario,
I
of
didn't.
course, for those who don't know, is a friend of ours who's also a physio, was the physio of Sri Lanka. And he had advised Murli not to run 6 days a week after retirement.
Well, I think Murali can get a bit eccentric when it comes to certain things. I think he was pushing it too much. But I think it's always good, Russ. It's just rather than eating your chocolates and all that and just blogging it in your couch, it'd be nice to run around and sweat a
You know,
little.
my kids hide all the chocolate chip cookies at home. I got
I
to
know.
ask permission from them. They give me one a day. That's how bad it is. One slab a day it was in the playing days.
Yeah.
It certainly was like that. But Muri was not a big trainer when we played, though.
No, but he got into a habit where he was running. He and I was running in the same area as well for a while. So he had that habit. He was going to drop his kids at school in the morning and used to run together for a while. So he kept doing that. But he's not an endurance runner. So he runs like certain sprints and certain distances. He has very calculated method of what he needs to do, and then he'll stop and he'll just walk away. So pretty sure he was trying to sprint himself. He's too old for that now, I think.
Yeah, talking about getting old, 27th. What's the plan? 27th of May.
There are no
43.
I don't think nothing's going to change in Colombo for next week. It'll be pretty much the same. Nothing much. I think, just another day, I guess.
Another day. Come on, Mahela. Big birthday party, nothing planned. Isn't Java bringing you food? You apparently eat everything that he delivers. That's what you've been doing during the lockdown.
Nah, no, nothing like that. I don't know where you heard that. No, I mean, things are a bit relaxed. You can go and do your shopping and stuff on certain days in Colombo. So, yeah, probably try and see if I can go and visit my parents on that day, and that's about it.
Did you have a fight with Maxwell? Well, someone's saying, tell us about the fight. Anyway, we leave that for now.
I
Mahela.
can't. We
Okay.
left
You know,
fighting, so I can't remember me fighting.
you never fight. You always fight when you're playing at warm-ups, everything. You are always fighting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, Myla, to be honest, it's been a pleasure knowing you as a youngster. I think we first met when you were 14. 1992 when you first played first 11 cricket, and you came to the home of cricket. I think only place. I mean, it was a special place for you to come and play cricket. That's where we met at Bamalapitia.
Where that that Bay kind of lake used to go behind, that smelly thing, is that the place, home of cricket?
Lush green, brilliant
Right.
wicket. You got a half century, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a bit of a fire of baptism. I think you guys had a really good pace attack. I remember Mario bouncing every other ball. Yeah, it was a good game. I think we had a very good outing that time, and yeah, as a youngster, as a fresher, it was yeah, it was a bit of eye opener for me.
Okay, where I'd like to go with this is, Myla, looking back at our school days, how cricket was, and for you to become the person you have. And I've had the pleasure of watching you from that time to go on and achieve a lot of things and earn so much respect. And it's really a great position to be in, and still to be able to talk to you like we did when we were 16, 17, 18. Just like that, it really is incredible. So now, what would you say made you the person you are in terms of cricket and also after?
Well, I think just the upbringing, I guess. I mean, we all played the game of cricket not thinking that we will play for Sri Lanka or anything like that. I think, you know, we just played because we enjoyed cricket, and it was a way of us expressing ourselves as kids, and I mean, both of us went to schools that, you know, sports was massive. I mean, obviously St. Peter's, more than cricket, rugby was big at that time, and then yes, cricket. But
Yeah, cricket was with Nalanda when we played. Yeah.
Yeah, so cricket was only Nalanda's thing. So yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean, only later on when we played under 19 cricket and all that, that we, you know, became a bit more serious about the game, and probably got complicated as well. But the thing I always tell youngsters now as well is about enjoying cricket. I think we all enjoyed playing cricket at that age, and it wasn't a stressful outing whenever we go to play a match. I mean,
Crowds were there. That was good.
Yeah, we had crowds. I think that's something different.
At Campbell Park, අපිට ගඩොල් ගැහුවා.
Guru Kyan Depa. So
Bye back Campbell Park in.
well, I think, you know, it was enjoyable, and it was good fun. I think that's something that I guess the modern day youngsters don't have is a lot of scrutiny around their games and social media and all that. So we were lucky enough, we were brought up in an era where it was less spoken about, and we just went along and, you know, played the game. So
we had half a page match coverage though each
yeah,
match. That was what we look forward to.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday papers. Yes. So yeah, I think that was the upbringing, I guess. I mean, so when you start something like that, you know, nothing's going to change in your lifestyle, and you tend to try and keep things simple as much as possible.
In terms of your talent and how you approached your game, was it more trusting yourself? You knew you had the flair. Did you have that arrogance? When I say arrogance, it's arrogance in a good way, the confidence.
Yeah, Russ. I mean, I guess, like, I was criticized a lot even when I was playing for the national team, the way I played sometimes, and it was exactly the way I played when I was playing for school. Probably curtailed a little bit, got a bit more mature, and understood my game plan a bit better. But my style of play, the shots and all that, I was a player who wanted to dominate, or who wanted to take control of things, and I went about doing that. And yeah, I got criticized a lot, and a number of times, and especially the way I played ODI cricket, not so much Test cricket, but ODI cricket. But that's how it was, and the role that I had to play as well in the team dictated how I had to play sometimes, because you had guys who were settled and who could bat through, and then some of us had to bat around that and make sure that you keep up with the rate. So it was more of a tactical thing as well, and I enjoyed it. I'm not complaining at all, because I enjoyed that role and I enjoyed the way I played. And if I had to do it again, I'll probably do it the same way. So because if you're not enjoying, and if you are not happy about what you're doing, and if you try to be a different player, I don't think you would have been able to achieve what I've achieved. So I've thoroughly enjoyed. I've never changed my game that much since the time I played for school and the way I finished at international level.
Well, I'd probably have to agree, seeing you from those days, but from the age of 14, 15, we kind of knew that you would go on to play for Sri Lanka and go on to do wonderful things. During your school time, something exciting, can you give us an insight, something that might have even ended your career early? Were you naughty? Was there anything like that? When we travel out of Colombo for games.
Yeah,
Viraj has been in my ear,
we had we probably had one or two outings, but I think
How about St. Anthony's Candy in 19...
Yes, and Andy, the worst thing is, guys,
what happened with the master in charge?
Yeah, Viraj and them influencing us. I don't think we should be talking.
So Viraj was your opening bowler, who was actually my batch. I'm a few years older to you. Just for those who don't.
Yeah, guys like Java, Viraj, and Sudam around, it was a very bad influence as a fresher. We were sent to bring some beverages in one of the nights after the game.
You had to pay for it?
I had to pay for it, and then had to bring, and we had to bribe the security guards because you can't go out. And when we were bringing those certain beverages, and the master in charge walked out, so I knew that if I get caught, there was two of us, two freshers. If you get caught with those beverages in hand, that would have been my full stop for that season at least. So I was like playing hide and seek with him and going around pillars at St. Anthony's. Luckily, it was an old building, so you had those massive pillars. So I had to hide around that pillar for about 10-15 minutes before managed to, go in the back door. So I do remember that. I know Viraj and all of them were laughing their head off. But no, you don't get paid. All the freshers has to buy the stuff at that time. I'm sure you'd have done the same thing. You've been a senior.
No. Yeah, we're Catholic school, man. Good team, good school. We don't muck around.
That's. I'll have to ask Brigesh and all those guys.
Under 19, our first tour that we went together was to Malaysia and Singapore in 1993. It was after that you were quickly picked to play against South Africa. Under 23s who came over with some really talented stars. Pollock was there. I think 10 of them went on to play. Klusner, Telemarcus, the list goes on and on. Yes, Callis was their youngster. Callis was their you at that time. And they were talking big things about Jack. Your memories of that?
Yeah, I think it was I think I wasn't in the Sri Lankan under 23. I actually played a warm-up game against them because I was only 16 at that time, 15 or 16. So I still remember. Mind your language. I know you like to speak Sinhalese, but some of the Sinhalese you speak, you have to be very careful with. There are a lot of people.
Can we talk in Tamil?
No.
Oh, okay.
Konjam.
Okay. Konjam. That's enough. Nalla irukkinga. Okay, get to the point.
I remember that game was at Bloomfield and it was a practice warm-up game. And that probably was that defining moment, me being a under 19 player, given an opportunity in a senior team to play a warm-up game, and that innings was something special. And I still remember that it was a good attack, and a lot of people were watching that match. I remember.
This was 95, right?
Yeah, probably 95. Yes, 94 or 95.
Yeah. Test debut, special match, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, especially in the sense that I sat there for 2 days with my pads on before I got to go and bat. But you can't complain when you had the Indians, frustrated out there for 2 days. But yeah, amazing test match. India batted well as well. Everyone forgets that India scored 600.
537, 537.
No, I think it was 580 or 630, something like that.
Yeah.
Because I remember that why we couldn't declare was that we only passed their score on the 5th day morning.
So this is the game that the game we're talking about is again Sri Lanka went on to score 952. Mahela made his debut there.
Yeah. So I think we went past their score 600 something on the 5th day morning. So then decided to bat through. I still know, even to date, Rahul and all of them curse us for keeping them on the field for 3 days. But yeah, it was a memorable match. I think Sanat and Roshan batted brilliantly, and everyone else after that just cashed in, and I was the lucky one, I guess.
I was the 12th man. I still don't get why we called the game off an hour early. We could have scored 1,000 Mahela. Those opportunities will never come again.
The scoreboard would have had a problem because there's only three digits on those scoreboards. It was not electronic one, so you can't put the 1,000. They had to put like 3 zeros, and that's it. No, but I think it's fair enough. I think there was no result in that game, and for us to go through. But I still remember. I think the tour before that you went to West Indies, right, with the team.
Yes. So I'm test player number 68. You're 69.
Yes, and
yes, but you ditched me.
I didn't ditch you. Actually, Courtney Ambrose and I think Walsh, took care of few of our senior boys.
Walsh.
Yeah. So I think Hashan got injured. Hashan had a forearm injury, got hit. He had a fractured forearm. So that's
why I got to play.
Yeah. So then I got my opportunity on the return when the Sri Lankan team came back. So yeah, I mean, those are opportunities that you don't think that you will get. I was called up for the squad out of nowhere in that Indian series to replace a senior player who was injured, and you had to grab those opportunities, I guess.
And you did. Okay, Test cricket, ODI cricket, or T20. Differentiate them. Not your favorite. Differentiate them.
Huge difference. Test cricket is where you get tested mentally, physically, tactically as well, long times, and try and be patient, test your nerves. There's no other sport in the world which will go for so many days, whereas you have to wake up every day in the morning on a test match and then turn up mentally fresh somehow. It's tougher on the bowlers, not so much on the batsmen, but definitely much more tougher on the bowlers, especially the fast bowlers. Test cricket. One day cricket is obviously something different. Tactically approach, the tempo is different, how you approach. But I think in the recent times, the introduction of T20 cricket has evolved in such a way that a lot of people have changed their game, have changed even the latter part of my career as well. We would change the way we play Test cricket as well. I think the tempo to Test cricket has changed a lot. Recent times, guys are scoring nearly like 350, 400 runs a day, which wasn't happening those days. I think 250, 280, 290 was a good score on a day's play. But it's much more attacking, much more result oriented, and the skills of the bowlers are much better. T20 cricket has brought about fielding skills, higher standards. You're not letting things go now that easily. So yeah, those are the different. I think skill wise, you get tested a lot in T20 cricket, because if you're a bowler, I think you have to be spot on. You can't you can't miss those lengths, lines, and executions that you have to do. So one day cricket is somewhere in the middle of a T20 and a test match, where you need a bit of patience to bat longer, 50 overs, much more tactical, see how you can approach. There are certain situations in the game that you can manipulate, in the sense that you have time. If you even make a mistake, you can come back into a game in a one day. But T20 cricket, you can't, because it's such a shorter format. And Test cricket is completely different. I think Test cricket, I still feel that that's where you get tested properly as a cricketer.
Your best innings, Mahela. Go deep into it, not just mention it. How you felt, why, and what you had to do. You were challenged.
Well, it's a very tough question because I mean, so many times I've been asked that, and I still cannot say that this was my best knock, because in Test cricket you have different scenarios, situations that I've played, and you have certain innings that that is something special, and in one day cricket it's the same, and T20 cricket it's the same. So you have three different types of games that you played, and you try to um, see what's best. I think whatever's I feel that taken the best out of me in situations is where you're put under pressure. And one of those innings is that the 100 I scored at Lord's to save a test match. And there was another 100 I scored against South Africa on a chasing effort. After I scored the 374, I scored another 100 at the Oval when we were chasing 350. We got the runs like last wicket. I remember Mali coming and hitting on drive. Maharoof was the non-striker. So those 200s I would rate, and my first 100 against New Zealand at Galle.
67. Yes, for me that really stands out.
Yeah,
Square Turner.
more reasons. I mean, it was a tough wicket to play, but you get tough wickets in different parts of the world, and you score runs. But I think for me, because it's my first international 100, that gives you a lot of confidence, saying that you belong here, kind of feeling when you get that 100. So that's something special. The World Cup 100 in the finals in India, because of the situation, the match, the pressure, the whole works, and I felt really in control in that knock from first ball to the last ball I faced. I don't think I've even given a half a chance in that game, so it was in pure control of the situation and all that. And probably the semi-final 100 in the 2007 in Jamaica against New Zealand. So those are few that I think was, if you go down deep and think, mentally you were challenged, physically you were challenged in sometimes, the situations were different, the pressure was different, so you tend to, dig deeper to score those runs.
All right, tell us about your funniest moment on the cricket pitch. Or you're always serious, Mahela?
No. I've had funny moments. I think I'm pretty sure you would have played that Test series against New Zealand in 2003 in Colombo, where at the Oval, when Flem got, there was a tweet.
No, I was stopped for that.
Okay, so there was a tweet recently as well about that. I remember that innings, Flem got a 250.
And 2.5 days.
Yeah, he did. But the thing is, I dropped him. He gave at least 8 chances in that knock of 250, right? I actually dropped him at least about 6 times. That was one of my worst fielding performances. I just couldn't catch anything that day. There were some catches was just like dollies. I just tried to do that and just fumbled off me. And there was one went over my head. I tried to turn around and catch it, hit on my head. I still remember I looked like a real clown on the field that day. And Flem still buys me drinks, by the way, because of that, because that's his only double 100, I think, in his career. Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was just, when you look back at it, I still can't remember exactly some of the catches I missed. There were a couple of hard ones in the slips, you dive and you drop, which is fine, fair enough. But I remember at least 6, and all of them were off Flem. There was no other batsman either. And if we had taken those catches, we would have won that Test match easily. But we made a real mess of that match purely because I've just kept dropping catches.
Talking about New Zealand and Flame, you went over to play a match with the All Blacks. How come you didn't take me along, knowing that I was such a big fan?
Yeah, unfortunately, they just didn't they just didn't rate your cricketing skills that much, Russ, even though you're an All Blacks fan. So that's why they probably invited
Ah,
me. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you had to come to a certain level for them to recognize to be an All Blacks fan, and then the cricketing. So I guess Murali topped it all, 800 wickets. It was easy,
He
and
went there and he did a hamstring. What's the point taking him? He's old.
I told him take it easy, but he's a show off, right? So he wants to show off that he can run fast. He boasted with the boys in the dressing room that he used to play wing when he was playing for his school, which he did actually. He was a winger for St. Anthony's. So he boasted. So when they saw him just casually jogging after a ball, they all started laughing, and he tried to show that he still got a little bit of pace in him, and then pulled the hamstring. It was so funny. He didn't show it. He just came around to me and then said, "I think I pulled my hamstring. I don't think I can walk." So I said, "Why didn't you just go for a bathroom break and just stay inside without coming back?" So it was fun.
Because I saw the clip and there was nothing about Murray. And like,
No, he bowled 2 overs. He bowled 2 overs, and they just couldn't play him at all. Picked up a wicket as well of Grant, I think Grant Elliott, and he had crazy figures: 2 overs, 4 runs, 1 wicket, or something like that. And then they kept him to bowl the last few overs in the match because they had lost wickets, so he didn't want to bowl Murali because he would have polished them off. So, and he couldn't bowl the last 2 overs because he pulled his hamstring. So it was funny.
okay, I could never ask you this. Now, when we go for training, you'd bring your bag out, your coffin, everything's a mess. But the day before, you take everything back to the hotel, whereas we have already left our stuff at the ground. Why
Yeah,
was that? And why, even if you hit a 4 or 6, why the hell do you keep running to the other end to make your ground? I mean, you're not getting anything extra. What was all that about? I never could ask you that.
all right. Um, so the bag routine was something that I've picked up when I was a kid as well. So I would take it back and I would put everything together properly and bring it back because I had this notion where that I felt that like just on the day of the match I just didn't want any of my pad straps or my bats or anything be broken or not in a you know usable manner at the game time, so I'm not distressed. I just had that discipline where I just was neat and clean. Like I don't know if you remember, I kept all my bats in a line on the wall. Just
Yep.
so it wasn't OCD. It was somewhere close to being OCD, but it was a routine that I made sure all my boots, the nails were there and all that. Just didn't want to. So it was just checklist. So I would take it back, put it the way I want to put it, and I'll bring it back to the game day. So I had that habit. The running habit was something that I picked up when I was about 14, 13, 14. So there's a season that I was scoring runs, but I used to get out after scoring a boundary, and it happened quite often in that time, 2, 3 matches, and I felt that the adrenaline of hitting a boundary, the next ball, you tend to play the next ball with that same mindset, and you tend to make a mistake, trying to force something which is not there. So for me, the way I would try and make sure that that previous ball, the boundary is over, is by running to the other end and finishing that. So in my mind, I would say that that's finished. It's like completing a single. You're pretty much on the non-striker.
So you're
So
talking to yourself. Oka pare karot ledak.
yeah, no, I know that. But the thing I didn't understand was like, okay, it was a habit and I continued doing it in international cricket. But like when you score a boundary or a six against a bowler who's very chirpy, and you tend to go to the other end, you're going to get a earful, which I did not plan when I was a kid. But I was okay with that. So I would get a lot of earful from a lot of the bowlers when I
Yeah, we
do.
also wondered, I'm batting with you, you're running from Yeah, it
bad
used to be like that.
bad habits.
Was good to watch that. and also preparation for the game. Now, Sangha hits millions of balls, we know that. But you would never do that. It's just 10 catches, short catches where you'd get someone to hit it back at you. That was all your preparation?
On the match day, yes, it was 20 catches. So I do all the other warm-ups and stuff like that. But I wouldn't hit anything off the ground because I had this mental thing that for me on the game day, the game starts when I walk in and play the first ball. So my mindset was that. So I wouldn't hit any like practice shots or anything like that during warm up. So my thing was I get those 20 catches, so I watch the ball. That's my focus, and then whenever I had to go and bat, I just walk in and just play the first ball. So it was just a mental preparation for me. So then I know I'm ready for that first ball kind of thing. So there's nothing. So I practice the day before, do all that, but on the day I hit no balls. Just my first ball will be the first ball I face on the game.
Right. Now, Mahela, I'd put it out to our fans or your fans of what they'd like to hear from you. So a lot of them wanted to hear the summary of how our World Cup campaigns went, certain games, your 624 partnership with Sangha, a deep breakdown of that, 2007 World Cup, 2011 World Cup, 2014 World Cup. Two failed campaigns there. Why don't you pick one? Let's like get in deeply into one of those and see, or try and let our friends know what happened, what could have happened. What do you want to pick?
No, I think each and every World Cup was quite unique. I mean, if you go through them quickly, I think my first World Cup was the '99, and it was a disaster for us after being the world champions, and we made a lot of mistakes in that. So I, as a youngster, learned a lot from that World Cup. There are a lot of things that we shouldn't do, kind of thing. So 2003 was a complete turnaround from all that, and we did a lot of good things. Lost in the semis, but we had a great campaign there in South Africa. 2007 probably was the defining moment of us grouped together, doing something special, and I don't think anyone gave us a chance in that World Cup. From
You were captain.
Yes, and we went all the way to the finals, and it was a disappointing final. But I think we've learned a lot. We did a lot of right things in the sense that decision making, and more than that, it's just a very enjoyable World Cup. I think recently as well, I saw Mali was talking about the volleyball that we played every day in the afternoon.
We spent a lot of time on the beaches, Mahela. There was a time where we had 2 weeks of doing nothing but beach stuff.
It was a long World Cup as well. I believe it was like 8 weeks or 9 weeks of cricket in that time because of traveling and different island hopping and stuff like that. So it was a very enjoyable World Cup. Really enjoyed that, spending time with the group and doing lots of stuff, and we were winning, so that was important. Then 2009-8 we had
Before you go to 2009-8, I have a question. This has always been worrying me. I've been trying to advise Murali, but he never listened to me, Mahela. But you were captain. Now, in the 2000 World Cup, in the group game, we played every team once, and then we went to the semis and the finals. Yeah. In the group game against Australia, who got Gilchrist and Hayden out? Murali didn't play the game.
Yeah, I know. It was
Russel. So why didn't you give me to bowl in the final?
Because I knew that Gilchrist might hit over the stadium. He was
because
hitting.
I went and told Muri, mang dapu vidira dapang, and he told me in his nice language. When Gilchrist was hitting us all over.
In that group stages, Gilchrist didn't even score like more than 20 runs. He was out of form. So that's where you got him out in the group stages. But the mode that he was in
that was 2007, yes, correct.
Yeah. And the mode that he was in the finals, we would have lost a few balls.
Is that why? Okay, 2011, quickly.
I think 11 was a brilliant campaign. I think we understood our team, the strengths, the weaknesses. We set up a good squad. We went through each and every game with a plan and executed that. Played some really good cricket. Got to the final. I think, I don't think we did anything wrong. I mean, winning the toss, we would have batted. India would have batted. That's their game plan. But no one anticipated the due to come in. Yes, we had some injuries in the semi-finals, so we had to make quite a few changes because of that. I know people have a lot of issues with those changes, how we did that. But I think
Angelo got injured. Angelo got injured in the semi. Now that's a big problem because he bowling and batting.
Batting all on, and we did not have anyone to do that at that time because Tissera was quite young, and we bought Tissera in for his bowling, but we wasn't sure about his batting, so we had to make sure that. And Murali was carrying a groin injury, so he wanted to play the final. So we said yes, he can still bowl. Because I remember he bowled with 2 steps in the semi-finals against New Zealand. So we had to have a backup. So that's where Suraj came in and played in that match out of the blues from where. But because his record against India leading up to the World Cup and all that was the best out of all the spinners. So we drafted him in, played Tissera for his bowling, and then we left out, I think it was Chamara, who was a batsman but he wasn't scoring runs, and then brought in Kapugedera to replace him. It was a like-to-like kind of replacement because we needed some firepower at the back end. So those were the 3 changes, if I'm not mistaken, we made in that finals. And to be honest, so this is probably something that not many people would have known. Like, we had a combination for each team that in that World Cup kind of thing. We knew who we wanted to play. The only guy that we couldn't play, if Angelo was fit, we would have played in that match, we would have left out one of the spinners and would have played Lara Fernando. We wanted some extra pace against India. And that went out of the window when Angelo got injured. We just couldn't play Lara, that extra fast bowler. So we went with only 2 fast bowlers, which was one Lasith, and then obviously we had Tissera, who came in for Angie because we needed to cover for that all-rounder spot. But otherwise, the plan was to play that fast bowler, extra bit of pace against India and Wankhede wickets because it has a little bit of carry.
It has a bit more bounce, yeah.
Bounce. And so combination-wise, that would have been our ideal combination to go for that, but we just couldn't go do that because of the injuries we had. And I don't think we played a bad game. I think 270 was the highest chase in a World Cup. Even up to now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So India batted well. I mean, we had them under ropes for a while, but the spinners couldn't get into the game purely because the dew came in. And we practiced for 3 days in that stadium, 2 days in the evenings. There was no dew. India would have done the same thing, and they said the same. I mean, if we were chasing that, we would have probably chased it down as well, because India had 3 spinners as well, which they played in that match. So yeah, I mean, those are things that there are a lot of ifs and buts when you lose. But I think I always say that the processes were right, the selections were right, tactically we got everything right. So up to that point, so I have no regrets the way we've had those World Cup campaigns.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was so unfortunate because we had played such good cricket and everyone was like in form. Now, before I let you go, Mahela, and ask you what would cricket look like when we come back, I just saw a comment from a youngster saying, what advice will you give a young cricketer? Now, you played as a young boy against men, bigger, stronger, mentally. How would you tune yourself? And the other thing is, if you're out of form, what can you tell that young guy?
I think I think the first thing I've said as a youngster, the most important thing, you have to enjoy your cricket. I think if you don't enjoy the game, it's very, very tough. It gets even tougher if you don't. And even the time till you finish cricket, I think you need to enjoy it. So the best time to enjoy the game, the best would be when you're a youngster. I think it shouldn't be a burden to perform and to do things and try and enjoy as much as possible. Form, I always have this debate with guys when they come and say I'm not in form. I try to ask them, how do you define form? And a lot of people struggle and to say I'm getting out. So you get out anyway. So it's nothing to do with your form. You're supposed to get out as a batsman. So I say, okay, I've got out 4 times or 5 times, haven't scored runs in a season, I haven't scored that many runs. So I said, okay, fine, so tell me, how did you get out? So they'll describe and say, I'm an opening batsman, I'm a number 3, I got a good ball, I nicked. And a couple of times I got out driving here, got LBW. got run out. So then when you analyze that 5 times that they got out, at least twice or thrice been for good balls. So that means that, the bowlers are there to get wickets as well. So technically you probably played 2 bad shots and you got yourself out. And then the the sequence is that, you had couple of 3 good balls as well, which you're supposed to get when you're a batsman. So the first thing people do is they put that negative thought in their mind saying I'm out of form. So there's nothing call out of form and trying to get back into form. I think when you're playing any sport, any game, you practice hard, you've done this, you pretty much are in it all the time. It's just the sequences, what happens, how you take it on board as a player is what defines form and not form. It's actually something that you put it in your head, a negative thought process. Sometimes people are hitting middle of the bat, but if you're hitting the fielder, you're not scoring runs. And sometimes you're scoring runs, edging, people dropping catches and all that. So how do you define form and not in form in that scenario? And at practices, you'll be hitting the ball middle of the bat. We go to the game, you get a first ball, a decent rock, and you get out. And
I know a lot of that.
yes, so it's about how you process all that and then see. So any youngster thinking that I'm not in form, I'm getting out, or I haven't scored runs, that's part of the game. That's why you're a batsman, because you have a split seconds to make a decision to score runs, and you don't have any way of rectifying that mistake as well. So you have one chance, you get out, you get out. Whereas a bowler, you can make mistakes, you can keep coming back, keep picking up wickets or whatever, it's fine. But as a batsman, you don't have that. So you need to understand that whole process and find what the solution is within yourself without putting any negative thoughts. I think that's how you define form and not form. And I personally don't feel that anyone is out of form.
Great. Well, Mahela, last question before I let you go. You're on the cricket committee as well. Suggestions coming in. කෙල ගහන්න එපා කියනවා. මොකද්ද දැන්? When we come back, how's cricket going to be? How do you see it?
We have to be sensible, Russ. I think the situation to make sure that I think that is the only way that you can pass on something is by saliva right now with the COVID virus. So the decision was to make sure that you don't touch anywhere you're not supposed to touch your mouth and face and all that with the hands. So as long as you can have that discipline. Sweat is fine as long as you're not taking sweat off your head and all that. But whatever is your forearm and from your trouser, you get sweaty, so you can shine the ball. But there's going to be a lot of hand sanitizers and all that going to be around with the umpires and on the boundary line. So as long as an habit you keep using the hand sanitizers and stuff like that, should be able to manage. And the whole point is to try and keep everyone on a bubble, all the players being tested and all that, and then try and make sure that you control that environment. Because I think you probably can play sport, and a lot of countries have started. I've seen in Europe, Germany already started their domestic football season. There are a lot of talks about rugby starting in New Zealand and Australia. So
It's starting next week. I'm excited.
yes. So, good. It's as long as like our boys probably start practicing first week of June. The cricketers under certain guidelines, I think you should be able to. But I think everyone going forward has to be disciplined and make sure that at least for a while we go with that flow, so that you can actually have sports and get back to normal life slowly.
Good stuff, Mahela. So looking forward to it, because that's exciting time. We need live sport. Watching highlights and old news, it's not a go. I'm hoping to talk to Dav Watmore, and talk to him about 96 World Cup and early days. Any suggestions, Mahela, that I can ask him? Should I ask him about Harare?
Yeah, you could ask him about Harare. Definitely Harare.
The golf course. Anything else?
Him that annoying thing where he comes and taps everyone on the elbows and on the knees and all that. He has this superstitious thing, right? Remember, he used to come and touch everyone on the joint.
Davia. He still has to, he owes me some money. Yeah, got to get it off him.
Yes, Taj Samutra. Ashtray, yes.
Yes, so that's something. Anyway, Mahela, good talking to you, and I'm sure
Yeah,
a lot of our fans would have enjoyed it, and was also educational, a bit of advice in there. We'll catch up again with you soon, hopefully.
yeah, Russ,
Guys, thanks.
stay safe. Say hi to the family. Cheers, bud.
Will do, will do. Thanks, guys, and hopefully I'll let you know the time that we'll be catching up with Watmo to talk about 96 and what happened around those times on Sunday. I still have to finalize the time. Well, MJ, take
Cheers.
care and sort out who the real bandit is, you or Sangha. Cheers, guys.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for our latest content.